Hello and welcome to another edition of Extra Connections here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. the JLJ, and I love connecting with people. And doing this show, I get to meet all kinds of folks, some that you know, like this person you probably do know. I know some of you guys watch the show. But he also has a life outside of the show, of course. No one's fully formed on a reality show. He is a vocational expert, has his own company for like nearly the last 20 something years at this point. And it's called, let's see, it's called Integrity Rehabilitation and Testing Inc. So he does, we're going to talk about what that means and what all that stuff goes with that. He's a speaker and stuff, but he also was on a show on Bravo called Love Hotel, and it was a dating reality show. And in between all of that, he's come from humble beginnings. He and I, he's like me, we are self-made people. So I'm very excited to have him on my show, and that's Mr. Earl, the Pearl Thompson. Hi, Earl. Oh no, my God, he's frozen. I know the intro's great, so we'll leave that on there and just now I can start talking to you. So that's for you. You can clip that and take that with wherever you go.
I love it.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, James. How are you doing?
I'm good, good. I do want to talk about the show first, then I'm going to kind of go backwards.
Okay.
Because a lot of folks, I work in Hollywood. I know how I've been on reality shows, sets, and things. I know how things go. But for you, because you are a businessman, a speaker, you had a whole life. I mean, like completely before this.
Oh
How
yeah.
did the first Love Hotel come into your orbit? I want to know that first. How did it come to your orbit?
So I had a friend who knew about my wife passing and knew me pretty well on my boat several times, and then she got married in a really great marriage, met a great guy, and then out of the clear blue skies, she sent me a message on Messenger saying I have a friend who is a casting director, and they're doing this new show with women who are successful. They need them. They don't need a man. They want a man. And she's like, I think you'd be perfect for it. And I said, no, thank you. And so she hounded me about a week. And finally, I put up an application with some pictures. And then from there, within a month, I'm flying to Cabo for the Love Hotel.
Hey, first of all, I mean, I see why. I see why she thought that, of course. But in all seriousness, again, you had a life. You also lost your wife, which I'm so sorry to hear about that. And she lost her leukemia. Um,
That's correct.
so make sure you rest in peace, and I'm sorry for that. But you're probably thinking you're living your life right now. You're working. You got friends. You might. So when you said no, what were some of the reasons why you were like, reality dating show?
Yeah, first of all, I really don't watch a lot of that stuff, so I didn't know much about it, and just the idea of it, I don't know. I just I had a whole trip planned to Europe with a friend from high school, and I planned on taking an acting class down the street from my house, and then I had it was still going to be the end of the summer, so I a lot of boating, and I have season tickets to the Falcons that was coming up, and and then, I just had so many things going on in my life and my job, my career, my
Yeah.
business. It just, yeah, I was like, there's no time for that. And then, but she planted a seed, and she kept kind of nudging the seed. And I started thinking about it and telling my friends about it. I'm, guess who talked to me, and what she wants me to do, go on this show. And they're like, man, that'd be awesome. And I go, there's no shot of me getting on this show. I'm a guy from Lawrenceville who's originally from Chicago, and I'm 60 years old, and I was just coming off a knee replacement surgery. So I was like, I don't know. But then I went ahead and posted it in the application. Next thing you know, casting director's giving me a call, and then a producer, then an executive producer, and so on. And then I get this text on a Thursday saying, you've been selected for this show and you're leaving on Sunday. And even then I'm like, I don't think I really want to do this. This is too real now, And I actually made the decision after talking to probably about 7 of my friends. And on a Saturday afternoon, I decided to go on Sunday. And so I just threw caution to the wind. And I've always kind of lived my life, going with my gut. And my gut said, give this a shot. And I didn't know why, but I listened to it. And again, it's Cabo. I've never been to Cabo, never been on any show, So I figured, hey, at least I'll meet some really cool people and give it my best shot, and might be home in a few days. Who knows, And I wound up being there from the beginning all the way to the end. So,
well, you did meet some cool people. We'll talk about that in a second. But okay, so I want to say that you are an example, because I'm right behind you in age, only a few years behind you.
Yeah.
So I know how that is, where opportunities still can come at our age. Like they're really, I mean, nowadays reality TV is not just all 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. I mean, they are expanding the reach. So,
yes, they, yeah.
So you're an example of that. Right?
I think that's cool too. But, at our age, fear comes into it, the unknown and being uncomfortable with change. And, I've always been the person, if I see a door cracked a little bit, I'm going to look inside instead of walking by it. And this is one of those times I said, let's see where this goes. Who knows? I mean, at the very least, I'm going to meet some amazing people. I'm going to be in an amazing hotel. I'm going to be in Cabo. I mean, so even if it lasts for 2 days, it'll be a really cool experience, whatever happens. So
how long were you on? How many days of filming were you on there? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was 21 days.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and they were long days. Yeah, very long days. I mean, it was really cool that it was the first show that ever allowed laptops and cell phones. And I think the reason for that was because we're all professionals. We have businesses at home, and taking that much time away would have been real difficult. Yeah. So people notice on a lot of the morning segments, they don't see me because I'm up there working and testifying on cases for Social Security all the way on the East Coast. Yeah. So I 5 while everyone's still sleeping and be working till like 9 or 10 or 11. And then I would join everybody, and then we'd work all the way up till 11 or 12. So I was exhausted like all the time.
I know. But how did you get used to the cameras?
You know what? I mean, my background's in counseling, and, people always come into my life for many different reasons, but they really open up to me pretty easily. And one of the things about me is when you talk to me, I'm always looking at you. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not looking around. My eyes are in your eyes. And on the show, when something happened and I'm talking to someone, I couldn't see anything else, because I'm so focused on what the other person is saying. So the cameras kind of disappeared for me right away. And I think I was lucky in that regard. And because I testify in front of juries and I testify in front of judges as an expert witness, I'm comfortable with my words, and I'm comfortable explaining myself. Although on a show like this, you're put in situations and predicaments that really catch you off guard, and you get kind of anxious and nervous, and it's already a dating pressure cooker, so it makes it a lot harder. But at the same time, I've been through worse, and I knew it. So when something would pop up, I try to resolve it and de-escalate it and explain to the person my part in whatever happened. And that was pretty effective.
How do you think you were portrayed?
Wow. So kind of a goofball. I've always been a goofball, kind of a ham, I love making people laugh. I mean, it brings me so much joy. So I didn't know how I'd be portrayed when the show came. Yeah. I saw some of the clips and stuff before the show started, and I'm like, oh my God, did I say that? Because or you give a look that you don't know you're giving, right?
Yes. Yes.
But then, you're in this pressure cooker with a lot of chaos and a lot of emotions and situations you're just not used to being in. Like if you like a girl, you go on a date with a girl, you don't go get a cocktail and come back and there's 50 guys that or 30 guys or 10 guys that are all around her vying for attention, and you respect them. So you got to take a step back and say, it's okay. She either likes them or she likes me, and put my best foot forward and see what happens.
I don't know. See, Earl, for me, it's the ego. I'm a man. I have an ego. I know I do. I always
Yeah.
wonder how that ego gets bounced around on these shows. It's about the women, but like the men too. I'm sure, like, I mean, we may show it differently than women do, but I'm like, is your ego slapped upside the head a couple of times while you doing these shows?
Well, I had to be slapped or redirected, let's put it that way, by a few of the guys a few times because we were really close. The first eight guys,
Oh, okay.
we called each other the Elite Eight, that first eight that came in.
Yeah.
And so we bonded pretty strongly there. And they would come up and I'd do it to them. And I could tell when they needed a breather and say, hey, take a walk with me, because it gets you a little bit,
I'm
right?
sure. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And they would say that to me. Ralph came up to me one time and he goes, Earl, you're showing it all over your face. And I go, what? He goes, just that you're not happy. Go back to the Earl to Pearl. So I do my little Earl to Pearl dance and I'd be back to Earl to Pearl. It's good. Everything's great. But yeah, you get caught up in it a little bit. And you're only human. And
Right.
none of the guys had ever been through like any of this before. So this is just us really winging it.
Wow. I think it's kind of cool that you guys bonded. I always wonder when the situations, because you're the minority in the group, obviously, you guys are the minorities. So, of the numbers. So, it's like, that's kind of cool that you guys actually bonded through the experience.
Yeah, we did. And we welcomed the new guys too.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. Like I would pull them to the side and kind of give them orientation.
here's this over here, that's over here, they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is where that's where you get a cocktail. This is where we eat. The pool's great. You got to check that out. Here's the beach. This is where the sunscreen is. Here's the update on the guys and stuff like that. And I think they appreciated that. So yeah, I mean, we really all the guys really got along, which was amazing. Until this day, we still do. Like
oh, good.
going to New York, I'm staying at Mark's place, and I'm going to see Theo, and then I'm gonna. I think in December I'm going to what is it, Puerto Rico, and I'll see Jerry and Nick and JB Loves is going to try to make it, and a few other guys. So wherever we're at, if we can stop off and see someone, even if it's for a cocktail or lunch or something, we're not going to miss that opportunity. We really became close friends.
Well, I think it's one of the things you guys have a shared experience that's uniquely yours.
We called it trauma bonding.
Well, I believe it. I mean that. I think I'd feel the same way. I'm sure.
Oh, it's hard on the women too. I mean, think of new people having to say the same thing all over and over and over again, and trying to be polite even though you have no interest.
Right.
But the guys, like I said, the first eight, we were really respectful of each other, and I can't tell you. Almost, I think every guy came up and said, I can see what you have going with Shannon and how she smiles around you. And I'm not even going there. Go ahead, explore, girl. And I thought that was so cool and kind of them, because they could see it. Because we had all sorts of chemistry and emotions. And,
you and Shannon, that's what I was leading towards.
Yeah.
I was like, so, I mean, you guys became very close. Became very close. Shannon Medora, as we're talking about, it became very close. She's a veteran, obviously, of reality television. We loved on the Real Housewives, but you guys really. So you're saying, and even in this situation, you guys really did bond, at least as friends, you bonded at least, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And not everyone did as close. I mean, I was close with everybody, and I've always been that guy where I always want to get to know someone more than just a superficial level. So we talk about all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And really, I want to know about their kids, their family, their job, all sorts of stuff. So I got really close with everyone.
That's very cool. And I can see you that kind of guy, of course. Yes. So I mean, you and Shannon, what's like in the end, what was kind of the deal for you guys? In your opinion, the deal for you guys?
What caused us to be together? You mean?
Yeah, it's kind of because you went on a reality show.
Right.
Didn't want to go on in the first place. We know how these things can be because of other things. Sometimes it does really work. I mean, it really does. There's people for a long time, and sometimes it's a throwaway, right? So, I'm just for you. Why do you think you guys worked?
I think the reason we worked is because we really enjoyed each other's company. And they didn't show a lot of it on the show because there's only so much they can show. But I mean, we laughed, her and I, all the time. And we'd look for each other and, talk about our days. And because, I'd come, around 11 or 12 and they'd already been seeing everyone for 4 hours. So when I'd show up, they'd be like, so how'd it go today? And, so we always had stuff talking about. And then Shannon and the girls, they had stuff going on with their shows. So I talked to her about that. And I watched a few episodes with Shannon of the first 2 episodes, I think, of that season where she had the DUI. And that was,
oh yeah.
I was there when she was actually watching it for the first time. And I'm so glad I was, because that was a tough thing to see, with the sirens and the pictures and the headlines. And I mean, I think anyone that goes through something like that, that's going to be a really tough day to watch it for the first time. Kind of like me watching some of these episodes I was in. Just call me.
No, I mean, it is you, but they do edit things too. But it is you that's presenting.
Yeah. Just call me Earl the cliffhanger. I was like a cliffhanger, I think 5 times. So I think, to go back to your question though, I think we really enjoyed each other's company. And when you're laughing with someone all the time over 21 days, I mean, that causes a unique bond, and so we were friends as well as we wanted to get to know each other better. And, we had there were a few other guys that were interested in her, and I knew there would be. I mean, she's very welcoming and fun to be around. So, but in the end, I kept making it through eliminations with my white crocodile shoes, so.
Love a pair of crocodile shoes. Love it. Love it,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it. I love it. I do. I love it. I look at you, and just talking to you earlier today, seeing you on screen, all this stuff, I feel like, as we would say in my hood, you have some flavor to you. I feel like, because I've read your bio, so I know that you have grown up in some rough conditions.
Yeah.
And just for folks who may not know this, give me a little overview, because you had an older brother. There was some like living arrangement. I mean, there's all kinds. Give me like an abridged version a little bit of kind of how you grew up.
Yeah, it was. I don't think every parent should be a parent, but in the end, there's no manual for it, so they do the best they can. And so that's how I was able to forgive like my parents and what we went through and stuff. But the kids were pretty close. And my brother, he's 11 months older, so we're Irish twins. And so we all left at a minimum age of 17. I think my sister left when she was 16 to move in with my brother. And so, and then I went to college. And so that was my escape. And that's where I healed from it all. And every life lesson, even if it hits you in the gut and it's easy, you're able to share it with other people who come to life. And so if they're going through something similar, you get some street cred just by what you've gone through yourself. And so every bad experience I've ever had and every stumble I've had in my life, it's brought me to this point of who I am and how I could be of service to other people and help them through some difficult times, just because I know what they're going through on a personal level.
Yeah, you're able to offer empathy, sympathy, connection, because you have been through it. You're like, I understand you, because I've been there, or I felt that, right?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. No, but I mean, you're another example of someone who has pushed through it, and you're not still fighting against the tide. Like, you're just like, okay, you understand where you came from, and you still made success for yourself.
Yeah, I think I figured it out about especially forgiving when I was like 24, and wow. I let go of it pretty early and realized they just did the best they could. I mean, they came from worse backgrounds, so it kind of like pushing it forward, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to bring it with me, so, but it literally, I look back on everything that occurred and it makes me who I am today. Yeah. And, I'm resilient. you can throw anything at me and I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll sweat it out, but I'll think about it and calm down and handle it. So I think it was a blessing in a way.
Well, later you got a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Yeah, yeah.
Master's in rehabilitation counseling. You really fully went into this field of service.
Well, it's interesting. I was a lefty who threw 95 miles an hour, and I could throw a football 75 to 80. And so my whole thought process was to become a professional athlete. And then I think it was my junior or senior year, I tore my shoulder, and then I tore it again and again. And now I'm throwing in the low 80s, and I go, I'm not going to make it as a pro baseball player, So I decided to go into my master's program in rehabilitation counseling, and I've worked with people with injuries and disability for 27 years. So that was my path. But I tell you, I mean, high school, it was all about sports for me. And then when I tore it, it was tough on me. That's a tough injury because it changes your whole life. But it taught me another thing too, to close the door of who you were and open the door of who you're going to become. And I've used that over and over again with my clients with disabilities, and some with horrendous disabilities, because you got to leave that life behind, because you're never going to be that person again. But you can find the joy in your next life and from this moment on. And I kind of preach that.
I agree with that also. I know you can too. I mean, it's, life presents challenges.
It does.
For everybody. It just does. And it's how we handle them and walk through them. Like you're saying, that you have to walk through them. How that builds character. That's what builds what you're going to be.
It really does. And everyone has their own story, and that's what's so amazing. Every time you meet a person and they open up to you, they're opening up to you because you're probably one of the few people that are listening and not talking, and plus they can feel your empathy. And so, I mean, I love helping people. And I think one of the great things coming out of me being on Love Hotel is that I've met so many wonderful people who write me privately, and I'm able to help them or put them in the right direction of where they need to go to get some answers about some of the tough stuff they're going through, if I can't help them.
I was going to say then, obviously the platform you get gets a little larger, and that's always good. That's always good.
It is. Yeah.
That's one of the great side effects of being on something that's bigger than you, bigger, in the sense of culture and stuff. It can widen your reach of your message.
It really can. But, I didn't know how big it was. Right. And my assistant, who helps been with me for like 4 years, she's a huge Bravo fan. And she was giving me a haircut one day, and over my shoulder, she saw me texting Shannon with a picture up there. And she's like, oh my God, because we couldn't tell anybody. Right.
Oh, that's right. Okay, right.
This is before the show came out, right? So she's cutting my hair, and I wasn't thinking, and I'm texting her, and afterwards she stopped everything and said, oh my God, you have to tell me what's going on here. And I go, what? She goes, you're talking to Shannon Storms-Fedora on your phone while I'm cutting your hair. I'm like, oh, you saw that? But she's the one that, because, literally I don't think how big things are. And she's like, do you have any idea what's about to happen in your life? And I'm like, oh God,
don't know. You really don't know until it happens. You just don't, not really.
But being in the Bravo universe, I guess,
yes,
or Bravoverse, I didn't know how big it was. I really hadn't.
It's huge.
And there's so many fans and so many people that just love the franchise. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's funny because that's the whole thing, folks at home, we don't know this. They film a certain time, it comes out afterwards. So the outcomes are done. They're all usually for most shows. They want to maybe a few live ones, but most time it's already, season's done. It's been filmed. They go back to their lives. You go back to your life.
Right.
Now, you have to watch. I mean, however long the show is on, you got to be careful. You can't let anything slip. You can't your Instagram page show a picture, all of a sudden so's in the back. You came in. So how hard? I mean, besides that little slip up, how hard was that?
It was tremendously hard, especially with that one cliffhanger about Shannon giving me my stepson's information that lasted 2 cliffhangers, right? I can't tell you, my sister, my close friends, they're all like going, what happened? What happened? What's in that letter? What's in that scarlet letter? And I'm like, I can't tell you. And my sister actually goes, is she pregnant? I'm like, I can't tell you anything. Okay. And so it was just, that was the hard part, is silence. I mean, I'm good at keeping a secret, but when you're being portrayed a certain way over the course of a week and you're getting hammered by people about maybe you were yelling at her or something like that. I mean, those 2 arguments we had were very small, and they not because, and I'm not talking that they were insignificant. I mean, small, like it only lasted a short while before we found our way back. And then again, 12-hour days, 21 days, and 2 blips, right? So on the show, it looks like it's happening all the time, but I knew it wasn't. So I had to keep my mouth shut and just go play it out, see what happens, But you could tell from that, when I saw that and I read what that letter said, that was probably my favorite point on the show. When I came, she told me everyone knew about it and were waiting for me. And I came around that corner. I don't know if the last time I felt that much emotion of happiness, where I feel the love from everybody, and they're all coming up and they got tears coming down their eyes and they're hugging me, and like real big, strong bear hugs from the guys, And I'll tell you, that was one of the best moments of my life.
Oh, I love that. What would your general advice be for someone to do a reality dating show?
Be authentic, go in for the right reasons. Don't be afraid to share, what you're feeling at any moment. Share who you are and what makes you you. Several of the guys and the ladies talked about things that were not easy to talk about, which allows other people to talk about some things that they might have never brought up. And it was pretty amazing to watch that on the shows. I saw some things I didn't even know about, but then it was happening all around me too. And I think I gave license for everyone to open up about things they probably wouldn't have talked about on the show, because I started talking about things pretty early.
Right.
So that's the advice I would give. Be authentic, be kind, be respectful. It's either going to work out with someone or not. Just enjoy the experience.
Right.
And don't be afraid to open up a little bit.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's really good advice. Would you do it again?
I don't know. I don't think I mean, I'll never say never.
Right.
But, maybe with enough time, I might do something again.
Okay.
But, I really love my life, and I just don't know. I mean, would I do something different? Maybe, I love dancing. You never know, Dancing with the Stars, or.
Oh my God, yes.
So you never know where your life.
Out loud, Dancing with the Stars, get them. I've been in those tapings. I love it. That's so funny. That'd be fun to have you on there doing that. No,
both of us. Come on, let's go.
I'll do it too, James. I've always wanted to do it. I've already told people I want my fans. Go ahead and tell them James wants to go on Dancing with the Stars. I want to so bad. I love doing it. I mean, I heard it's an amazing experience for us. I have friends who've done it.
We'd have to have a dance off, buddy. We would.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Dance off. I love it. No, you're great, and we should keep in touch. And I just think that you're a great television, and you're a great guy just in regular life. You're just like a great guy. You've been through a lot, but you are wearing it in a way that's just like, this is life, and I'm here to experience more. And so that's how you seem like. You're just here to experience more stuff.
Live, laugh, and love, and live life to the fullest. I mean, that's my philosophy. And don't be afraid of something new. Change is inevitable. Give it a shot. I mean, I'm taking my first comedy class this Saturday.
Oh, good.
Improv class. And then I find out after I sign up that we're going to put on a show for everybody at the end of it.
Oh, I love it.
So, I mean, again, it's just something to do on a Saturday night, meet new people. Who cares where it goes? It's just fun, have fun.
Have fun, folks. I agree with that completely. If they want to find you on social media, where can they find you?
On Instagram and TikTok, I'm Earl the Pearl 35. And then Facebook, Earl Thompson. And then in parentheses, it says Earl the Pearl. So.
Yeah, I love it. I know. You need t-shirts. I don't know. Something. You need some merch somewhere. Folks, it's Earl Thompson. And I want to thank you for being on the show. I'm glad we connected here on Extra Connections. Our page is on Facebook. I'm everywhere. JLJ Media, JLJ News, everywhere you want to be. Just look it out everywhere. This show is on every streaming service platform, except for Google. Google has no podcast anymore. But every other one, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, we're on all those, Audible. And of course, the granddaddy of them all, my channel, JLJ Media on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe, follow him, follow his exploits and his shenanigans that he's out there doing stuff. And everyone have a great week. We're here on Wednesdays. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.